What is going on, everybody? We are back once again with another edition of Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast. It's Thursday, October 24th. We are a week away from Halloween, basically. Less than a week away from Halloween Havoc. Fresh off an episode of Dynamite. We've got a lot of great things going on, wrestling and holidays-wise. But it's not all about this on a Thursday. We're going to break down yesterday's Dynamite first and foremost, and we might even have a sneaker segment in here for y'all. Good news for you. I've got an esteemed colleague writing with me. This is my second two-man show of the week, and I'm stoked about it. I had Chaos on the first on Tuesday. Ironically, today, not a Tuesday, in fact, a Thursday. But I've got the Tuesday Night Delight hanging out. What is good, Shoddy?
What's good, Clark? I am back. It's been a little while since I've been on a daily. I've been busy, man. I want y'all to know, the fans, this setup is going to be looking different in the next couple of weeks. I am moving in a couple of weeks, so I'm definitely getting excited for that. If you see boxes in the background for a couple of these shows, please don't judge me. But I'm excited, man. I'm excited to talk AEW Dynamite, and I'm excited for our ad read today because it's going to be very, very fun. We got something crazy for y'all today.
I am super fired up. Sorry for the poor camera cut there. Yeah, Shad, I'm with you. Also, by the way, congrats on the move. Stoked for you. Cannot wait to see the new setup when you get there. We got a couple comments out of the gates. You got to love that. Hello from number one Superfly. What's going on? Thank you for always tuning in. Then Josh Markowitz with the pause of the day. Clark loves two-man.
Pause. That's
Respect.
Crazy, Josh.
If you get me that good, I'll read the comment. That's funny. I don't care what. I don't care who you are. Monster shout out, Markowitz. You win here.
It was good, Markowitz.
Okay, let's get into our first segment here, though, Shad. Let's talk about this ROH World Championship match, ladder match. Ladder match last night. It's Jericho. It's Briscoe. A lot of, personal tension there with Jay being brought up.
Firestorm on the internet for this match, by the way.
This is really interesting, though, because I saw the firestorm on the internet. So hang on. I've got a few things to say about this.
Go ahead.
I saw the firestorm on the internet about the match before I saw the match itself. I'm over here on the West Coast. I watched it on a tape delay because we didn't have, the post show to do afterwards. So I waited till 8:00. But I did unfortunately see a few comments about it along the way. So I was anticipating an absolute dumpster fire. I had one issue with this, but not many others. The psychology was there. The reason that Jay Briscoe decided not to get the belt at the time it made the most sense was, well, he wasn't done beating up Chris Jericho for what he said about his brother. And I thought commentary, monster shout out Matt Menard, did an outstanding job of pointing that out and filling in those gaps. I get that there's a lot of criticism of Jericho in general, especially at his age, but he can still tell a story. He's still 30 years in the business. And Mark Briscoe did a really good job. My one issue with my one spot, and it was right before a commercial, but you could just see Mark Briscoe blade so blatantly and then toss the blade when it happened. I was so frustrated by that. Outside of that, I thought this was a thoroughly enjoyable ladder match. Everything made sense psychologically. Jericho got the win. Is that what we wanted? Is that what we like? Not necessarily, but that's a big part of pro wrestling too, because we still want to see him get beat. Now, I did say there was only one thing. This happened after the match. If I have one more complaint, why did we go straight to Ishii after the match? Why aren't we showing a dejected Mark Briscoe on that camera cut and building him up in a way? The fact that we went straight into the next segment, basically, that part bothered me because I thought the match was much, much better than what we heard and saw on the internet. Shad, obviously, I've got to ask you about it, and I know you've got a strong opinion on this one. Did you sort of see it the same way I did, or did you see a lot more flaws than I did?
So I agree with your notion. I thought this was arguably match of the night last night. I love ladder wars. They're always super fun. It's very stoic to Ring of Honor history. We've seen a lot of classic ladder war matches go on ROH. And Mark Briscoe, say what you want to say about the guy. If he is going to bump, he is going to bump. He took a lot of chaotic bumps. I thought the match was highly entertaining. The issue honestly just goes within the result. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not I don't dislike Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho may be one of my top 10 favorite wrestlers of all time when it's all said and done. And I appreciate the work that he does. And I do think he gets a bit much criticism to the fans than he should. But I don't enjoy the booking of him tied to the ROH title because I don't necessarily know the identity of the Ring of Honor title at this point because him and Briscoe, like you said, they've been feuding for a while. I thought after Briscoe beat him the last time around, it could have been the cherry on top, and we should have ended it. We extended it. We got a great match last night, but now we go into this picture with, he's the Nueve, he's the 9-time champion. What does that do? Like, what is the direction for Ring of Honor more than anything? I feel like they need to create a direction for it. If this means Chris Jericho, Brian Keith, and Big Bill are primarily going to be on Ring of Honor television, and we kind of take them away from AEW television for a little bit, then fine. That's cool. If we're kind of circling around having the same feuds, yeah, I kind of have an issue with it. To the point, I kind of was a little bit more upset with the end of the match after, with Ishii coming out. I don't want to see them feud again. Like, I feel like I've seen these guys, handcuffed in feuds for the longest time. There isn't anything captivating when they feud, right? Like, there's
it's chop fest. We're getting a chop fest. Yeah, there's more chops than a steakhouse.
And I like the Stone Pitbull. He's that dude, but it's just it gets tiresome. And I want to see. Thing is this: I see the potential in the learning tree. I don't think they're a bad unit, and I don't think they should break up at all. I would argue that the learning tree has benefited Brian Keith a lot. It's got him prominent, no pun intended, TV time, but it's got him on our weekly programming, giving him something to do. And Big Bill doesn't act like a goofball no more. He's legitimately a heavy. He's the heavy.
It's really funny because the criticism was like, is he really elevating these guys? And it's starting to feel like Jericho's stock gets lower and theirs get higher during this. And it's a little like, that's hard to argue.
Honestly, man, I feel like Big Bill and Brian Keith as a tag team would kind of be a good mesh because I think
no issue with it.
Would be, it makes sense. Obviously, they're in a faction, and I think they would like have a good sense of like fire and ice, right? Where it's a little different.
Dynamic between them two is great. By the way, I completely forgot about Fire and Ice. Wasn't that Scott Norton and Ice Train in WCW back in the 90s? When that Fire and Ice, I was Ice Train. Who, by the way, I will admit, I was 6 years old when they were an active tag team, but I'll never forget. It's one of my earliest memories watching wrestling. I'm watching with my mom, and I kept calling him Ice Tray, as if that was his name, like he was an ice tray, like a tray of ice. My mom was like, "Oh no, Clark, it's Ice Train." I mean, I had to be 6. I was like this tall. Like
that's a word. Hey, that's a word. Phonically could be a little difficult when you're young.
Yeah, I had him as well. I mean, my other famous one is I had Quentin Jammer was Quentin Jabber for years, the old corner for the Chargers.
On the Chargers? Yeah, I remember that dude.
Just completely missed it.
Yeah, but I mean, look, I don't. The match was good though. I can't take that away from them. Those guys delivered a great match last night, and if I can take away anything, and if this can be the positive, and maybe some people could see a silver lining to it as well, Mark Briscoe needs to be a prominent role in AEW television in the singles division. That man is a legend as a tag team wrestler, but that man can freaking go as a singles competitor like he used to be able to do back in the day. And I know he's a little older, but man, he still feels like he's got some prime years in him. And to me, I feel like he's a very underrated, just overall talent
Yeah,
on the AEW roster.
I would agree. 100%. We got a bunch of comments here that we should totally run through, by the way, because we got some good ones.
Yeah.
Good old Josh Markowitz with the issue is people have the issue before the bell even rings.
No,
If people see Jericho, they have the tweets ready to fire. That is very true.
no, that's very true. I can't deny that, man. Like he's not doing as bad as y'all make it seem that he's doing.
Absolutely. We've got the next one here from Numero One Superfly. This was pretty explosive to me. He said, I think AEW is going to pull a Vince Russo. As Chris Jericho burns the ROH championship next week to reveal an eco-friendly ROH World Championship. Wouldn't that be backwards to burn leather and melt gold? Like, I gotta say, Numero One, I think the suggestion is hilarious, but not quite yet.
I did like Daniel Bryan's wooden belt, though. That joint was fresh.
Oh, it was great. Bobby Petito added, hello, guys, and you guys have a great Thursday. Yes, of course, you Bobby, brother. You're the man, and good luck in Bocce this week coming up. Jordy in the bank over on Instagram with a couple of legends doing what they do best right here. See, Jordy is a good guy, Shotty. I've been telling you this whole time. I'll
see you on Tuesday, Jordy. We'll see if you keep that same energy on Tuesday and being nice, man.
Okay, by the way, 2002 Jason M said, I agree with you. Mark should be in the AEW division now. Either go for Continental Champ or TNT Champ. And my name's Clark, or unless you're calling us Mark, this might have been a comment I missed earlier. I'm confused.
No, he's talking about what I said with Briscoe going for the
he's talking about Mark Briscoe.
Yeah.
Whoa. I thought someone was getting called a Mark there. I got that. Okay, Sean Ellis with AEW equals all ego wrestling. Interesting enough,
he's on NXT now.
I was about to make an all ego reference myself because DCEX Warlord, friend of the show, always tunes in, said Soul got it right. And I don't think he's talking about Ruka. I think he's adding a U. And I think he's talking about our Soul, who was supposed to be the third man on this show today. Do not, if you've seen all ego Ethan Page, do not pump up Soul's ego. I'm glad you misspelled it.
By the way, have you
doing that?
Have you listened to his diss track to Trick Williams?
No.
It's so good. It's really good. I think that is good. I think bar for bar, he may Trick got to respond, on the track.
He's your least favorite, and I know obviously he's in a world of controversy right now, but I still think one of the best recent diss tracks. I'll never get over the going through a goth phase one. Like that tickled me. The two grown men going through a goth phase.
Oh yeah.
Like about Sting and Darby. I was dying. You talk
about the caster joint, right?
Yes. By the way, Bobby with the Diet Coke all ego. Yes, there you go. We've already got Diet Scott Hall for all ego. And then Sean Ellis means that it's all wrestlers in AEW. I think that's a bit extreme. I wouldn't go that far.
I feel like Daniel Garcia's media run the last couple of days have showed that he's as humble as it is, and he put over NXT very, very much, which, obviously he had the choice between going to NXT and AEW, and he made it seem, he explained why that decision probably would have been a little bit more difficult because he sees that wrestling is a good landscape with a lot of stuff. So I don't think he has an ego.
Absolutely. Okay, let's move on to our next segment. It's time. Let's talk about Kyle Fletcher because I think you have the perfect cast for this. If you've watched the daily broadcast over the last couple years, basically now, me and Shad have never really understood Kyle Fletcher. At one point, I believe I called him Kyle Flowchart because I really just don't understand anything outside of the flow. Hair-wise, that's a West Coast reference for anybody out there that doesn't understand it. Here's the deal. I was anticipating an absolute train wreck when it came to this one, Shotty. I think that's what we got. I dug it as two dudes. At least I shaved my own head due to male pattern baldness.
He's closer to us.
I know that haircut-wise, you're on the same page as me. As two dudes who hear that clipper sound often enough, I thought it was impactful. I dug it. And
Uh-huh.
my favorite part about it was, and I know that this was planned, Don Callis saying, "Get rid of the rest of Osprey. Get it off of you." Right? Like, don't be associated. I love the idea of the evil genius being in his ear as he shaves the head, because there's a portion of the fan base that's like, why would he do that to Will Ospreay? And the Undisputed, right? I mean, they're the big group, right? The United Empire, Undisputed. The United Empire, I knew it was a you.
Yeah.
But right, like when Mark Davis gets back in this and that, the other, Kyle Fletcher can go bell to bell. I've never seen that much charisma out of him on American television. And that is no knock on his work in New Japan, in his history, in his work around the world, on the way up, his tag work with Mark Davis, his work alongside Ospreay and Davis. No, this was the best single spot with a microphone in his hand he's had since he's been over here in AEW. And he's had a lot of opportunities to wrestle some big freaking names on Wednesday nights. I had the opposite feeling of a lot of people in this one.
I love this comment, by the way.
I dug it.
I love this comment. Kyle had such nice hair. I just don't understand how Superman.
It took time, obviously, to bleach it and all of that. I mean, I'm with you there.
You got to start over sometimes. You kind of damaged all the, the roots and stuff of it. It's time for he's gonna grow it back, right?
Yes, we've got O2 Jason M said the Kyle Fletcher promo was fire. Can't wait for Fletcher versus Will at Full Gear. Kyle should win this match. I don't mind it at all. And Josh Markowitz with exactly what I thought. I hated his hair before. I think shaved is better. I thought the hair was goofy as could be.
I always call him, I don't know if you know that singer rapper, the Kid Leroy. He's an Australian dude, funny enough.
Yeah.
He looked like him on, like, juiced up. Like, they look just like each other. Blonde Aussie kid with the flowy hair, except Kyle Fletcher's probably like 4 times his size of pure muscle. But
I can't lie. Maybe this is a generational thing, but I thought it looked like Justin Bieber somehow made the Little League All-Star team, and they all decided to bleach their hair. And he was like, well, I guess I got to do it too.
Yeah, that look is kind of like a phase. I can't relate because I don't have hair. I couldn't grow my hair to his level.
Yeah, I don't have hair to bleach. I could do the sides.
He said he went from Kid Leroy to Eminem. Yeah, he definitely does look like he's in the Stand video. But dude, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I'm a Kyle Fletcher fanatic now. He is one of my favorite wrestlers in AEW. We didn't believe, now I believe. The fact that every word he said in that promo, painting every picture, explaining every detail about Ospreay, and the crowd just captivated by it, right? That's some like next level stuff as a superstar. That's what helps transcend you to that next level. And now I believe I see what the hype is about now. I didn't see it for a little while, but now, and I know someone, I think Bobby said he doesn't need Don Callis. Working with someone like a Don Callis, right? That's how you learn. It's not all about what happens in the ring. That's a guy who's been in the business for as long as he is.
Interesting. And Sean Ellis said the same thing. I'm stunned at that. I think Don Callis is an expert at what he does. I mean, the guy, yes, does he look exactly like a human thumb? Absolutely. But at the same time, that thumb has some things to say, and his experience in the business as a heel manager, he's so good. I think he played
for a minute too.
As important of a role in this thing as anybody. Oh my gosh, TC Warlord with that phase is called the Ken phase.
But here's the thing, right?
Hang on, Shad, before you say that. 2002 Jason M did say Kid Leroy goes hard. I love that.
Oh, yeah, Kid Leroy, he make fire music. I rock with him. Here's the thing, right? I said it a couple months ago. I said the moment this guy turns heel and goes for Ospreay is when we're gonna see him transcend as a single star. And now we're here. We are here for it. We are seeing him starting to transcend as a single star, as a heel. This is going to benefit him more than anything. Now, the worry is about, whenever Mark Davis comes back. When that happens, right? They can get to the tag division, but this is like the Daniel Garcias, the Will Hobbs, like these young guys that have so much potential to grow and become main event stage type of people on AEW. Kyle Fletcher's right there with him, man. He is right there with him, and I love the fact that he is emphasizing that he's separating himself from Ospreay. This is probably one of the feuds for Full Gear that my butt is in my seat. Obviously, all Ospreay matches are 5-star matches, but the fact that we got one of the more captivating storylines for Ospreay built in with this one, it's incredible, dude.
Absolutely. I'm 100% with you. With that, though, let's pay some quick bills and then give
Yeah.
everyone a surprise segment. We're going to discuss something other than AEW Dynamite really quickly out of this. But in the meantime, let's talk about our friends over at Progress Wrestling, because if you aren't subscribed to Demand Progress Plus and you're watching this show, we already know you're a wrestling fan. So what are you thinking? It's one of the greatest video libraries you're going to find anywhere. We've got past, present, future, all kinds of great stuff on there. All of your favorites that have come up through Progress in that library. Not only that, you might be looking at the price like, I'm not totally sure. How about this? Use our code Watch Progress 1. You're going to get 50% off your first month for On-Demand Progress Plus. Also, Defy TNT. There are so many promotions on this platform. What are you doing? You're missing out if you haven't checked it out yet. But with that, speaking of checking things out, this isn't Sweet Home Alabama this week, Shoddy.
No, sir.
This is Werewolves of London.
Yes, sir.
We've got a Progress show this weekend. Let's talk about it. I'll run down the card really quickly, unless you'd like to.
Yeah, I mean, I can run it down if you want me to. Let's start from the bottom. We got a tag team match. The Sunshine Machine, that is TK Cooper and Chuck Mambo versus Session, Moth Martina, and Gene Money. We are big Gene Money fans over here. Highly entertaining.
All day.
That should be a good one. We got the Progress Proteus title match. Paul Robinson versus Simon Miller. That's going to be a banger. There's a lot of title matches on this card, by the way. The Progress Tag Team title match. The Smoking Aces. Charlie Sterling and Nick Riley, the champs, going against the Experience. That's L.A. Taylor and Sky Smitten. We got Eddie Dennis and Tate Mayfair going against Subculture. Flash Morgan, if y'all know, that's Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews. A match I'm super excited over here. The Progress Women's title. Rio, our champion, versus that dastardly devil, Lizzie Evo. I'm excited for that one. And I think this one is the one you and I are probably going to be most excited for. The Progress World title match. The champ, Luke Jacobs, going against the GOAT, man, like DeReese. I'm not biased on who I want to win that, but if you see how I'm saying that, you probably will know. And then we got another banger match right here. The Defy World title match. The legend himself, Kenta, who is the champion, going against Cara Noir, Werewolves of London. That's happening October 27th this weekend, bro.
Absolutely. It is off the charts, Shoddy. I mean, it's always Progress. I do have to address one thing before we continue talking about Progress really quickly.
For sure.
Superman Bass Fisher, which I respect. Gotta love bass fishing. But when has Don Callis ever had a job with a top promotion except now? I don't know if you know this, but he actually managed 2 Hall of Famers, the Acolytes, with Farouk and JBL. He also managed the Oddities, worked for the WWE. He's worked for every major promotion. And you really can't say that about many managers in the industry. That was I gotta say, man, as a fellow angler, I would take a different angle when it comes to that one. And I'm not talking Kurt angles.
For sure.
But back to Progress really quickly here. I'm with you. I mean, Robbo and Simon Miller, I'm excited for always because that's just violence. But like you said, there's so many good ones. I mean, even the Eddie and Tate stuff, like it's running down this card.
Yeah,
It's
that
hard to deny.
progress tag match for the tag titles of Smoking Aces versus the Experience should be a good one. I'm really excited for Rio versus Lizzie Evo. I think
Yep.
Lizzie is such a good heel. Her beating Alley Catch at the last event, she's really like in her bag. I love her personality. She's definitely thinking she's above everyone, as she should. The best can only be the best unless you tell yourself you're the best. But Rio, she's been the best. She's got this historic run. And then man like Darius, man, will he get his moment, bro? Will he get his moment? Will he finish the story for us? The story that we've been saying that he should be the champion for the longest time.
Man like Darius is pure star power, and I'm with you. To me, that's the highlight of this card. Luke Jacobs has been awesome. Man like Darius is the most exciting talent to me that we've seen during this Luke Jacobs run opposite him. Is it
Yeah.
time right now? Gosh, I hope so.
Yeah.
Do I believe so? Not totally sure. It's definitely the one that
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to. Kenta and Cara Noir, you can't go without mentioning, though, of course, because I mean,
That's
it's
gonna
just
be
it's two absolute legends, and it's something like not that long ago we thought probably wasn't possible given Cara Noir's recovery from his injury. We've talked a lot about ankles this week over here at Wrestling Republic and different injuries, and Cara Noir was on the shelf.
yeah, he was.
And he's looked like he hasn't missed a single step since he's returned. I've been blown away by that. But let's get back into our regularly scheduled program,
For sure.
and that's AEW Dynamite. Queen Aminata, I'm a huge fan of. I think she's elevated herself on TV in a weird way by being charismatic and continuing to lose in big spots. We get her right to the edge of the pool, and then she decides to get back in the jacuzzi, and it's not her decision. It's booking.
Yeah.
I still thought she looked great against Camille, given what her job was yesterday. But I want more for Aminata. I think she's really shown her talent and is awesome. And I'd love to see just an opportunity to string together more than a couple victories.
Yeah.
Before the big bad wolf comes and blows the house down. At least that's my view on it. At the same time, it was awesome to see Camille compete and get the victory. What were your thoughts on it, Shadi?
Man, this was a really good match between both ladies. Queen Aminata to me is like the weekly wrestling plug and play star. You're bound to have a good match anytime you put her in position to. She is the epitome of a fighter. She always gives a fighting chance at the end of the day. I love her style of wrestling. She's so physical in her own sense. She's such a great striker. Technically super sound. She looks absolutely amazing every time she graces our television screens from the entrance and all. And this was something that I was intrigued by because to me, we're seeing Camille. Camille's job is to be the heavy, the bodyguard, doing the dirty work for our CEO Mercedes Moné. And to see her kind of go to the limit with Queen, to me, it didn't benefit Camille as much because I think Camille is supposed to look strong in bouts. Maybe you give her squash matches, whatever it may be. But it really made Queen Aminata look super strong in a loss because I honestly walked away more impressed with Queen in defeat rather than Camille in victory. So, I mean, with that with that said and all, there should be a direction for Queen Aminata. There should be a sense of, let's find a way to push her in some sort of storyline. Let's, find ways to get her wins. It's a good way to kind of get more women's matches on TV, if you ask me, right? Whether it be on a Collision, whether it be on a Dynamite. But she does always fall on the short end of the stick. But to me, that's the story, Clark. I feel like when we get to her in a meaningful title feud, that's where we go with the playback for. So close beating Billy Starks, so close beating Athena, so close beating Mercedes Moné. When she does get that win, we're gonna soak it in because she's such a lovable babyface. End match, Chris Statlander comes out. We have the face-off between Herman and Camille. Obviously, we're leading into Statlander versus Mercedes for the TBS title. I don't mind it. I feel like Statlander versus Camille is a match that I am excited for, just off of the
Yeah.
nature that they're both
Physicality.
imposing. Yeah, physicality, imposing threats. And Mercedes doing what she does, man, looking absolutely lovely last night. I love her. I love her fashion, bro. She be like really killing it with the gear and matching her hairs with her outfits, man. So always good to see Mercedes.
Absolutely. I'm 100% with you. It's always good to see Mercedes, and I agree with you on Camille and Statlander is a tantalizing matchup given the physicality of that match. What you'd see, I think it would be off the charts. We got a few comments to run through. This one really cracked me up. This is about Don Callis. That must have been when I wasn't watching WWF. I had a girlfriend. LOL. Me too. I just was 7, so I don't bring it up these days.
Let's say how old are you?
He said the Montreal screw job made me not want to watch anyways. Good save.
Touche.
You gotta love that. Let's talk about the chaotic end of the show, though, which it was chaotic. I mean, I don't really understand how they got from the desert in that truck to the arena, but that's neither here nor there. Do they use the freeways? I'd love to see the ways routing
that is
on
funny.
that one.
I didn't think about that. That's actually really funny.
I was just like, wait a minute.
Desert
they were in like the Sahara Desert practically.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're at the show. Like, how'd they get on the freeway?
Right.
How'd they even get there? I just don't know. Of course, MDB 999, friend of the show, with I love you. So
I love you, Sokoa. I love you, my tribal chief.
Yes. He also added that Camille versus Queen last night lacked so much chemistry. I've seen better matches on NXT. Ooh, I actually disagree with that. I thought the chemistry was fine. I thought that was a time issue for sure. Bobby Petito appreciates us so much. We appreciate you, Bobby. Thank you always for tuning in.
I was like, it's like 9:25. I didn't see a lady on the show yet. So
yeah, exactly. Either way, we've got the Blackpool Combat Club. Nobody, ironically, from Blackpool, but that's neither here nor there.
Mm-hmm.
They pretty much attack everyone, lay waste to the entire roster. Claudio and Wheeler are there. It does seem weird to me that Wheeler was so torn, dating back to the initial turn at Wrestle Dream on Danielson, that he's now just falling in line and doing what he's told.
Invested.
Right? I'd like to see like a little bit more still like skepticism even out of Wheeler, because there was so much juice put into Wheeler being the one that wasn't ready to leave.
Yeah.
I don't know here. I don't know what the future holds. I do like a bit of the mystery. But yeah, I want a couple. Okay, MDB 999. I can't read that comment, but that's
you are wilding. That is
they probably miss, and she's that good that okay, never mind. We're not even getting into that. That is funny. That's a funny comment. Either way, though, sorry, lost my train of thought. That got me too good too. I saw it at the same time as you did. So either way, my point is, I would like to see a few more nuggets as to the entire motivation dropped along the next few weeks. We now understand that they're an unstoppable force or a movable object or whatever you'd like to call them, and a united front. But I do want to see a little bit more why here soon. Give me your thoughts on it though, Shadi.
Okay, I first got to talk about the match because I'm so scared right now, Clark. I'm shaking in my boots at the moment. We had the 6-person match. Obviously, the victors are Daniel Garcia and Private Party. Private Party, Zay cuts a promo and he says that next week we have a match. We need to get those title shots. And the stipulation is if Private Party loses, they got to split up. If Private Party loses and splits up, y'all might not see me on the AEW review show anymore. I'm not going to lie to you. The fact that we haven't seen them get an opportunity to win the tag team titles for as long as they've been in AEW, given a proper push, kind of been giving more uninspiring booking, even though these guys are fan favorites. They are incredible workers. I know injuries have prevailed a lot of the situations, but come on, man. We really going to just split them up. I fear for them because I don't know what they do as single stars. I don't. It just doesn't work for me as much. These are guys that haven't done a lot in the tag division. Now there's like so much meat on the bone, so that scares me. But the ending, I feel like Moxley is doing what we initially thought we were going to get from the Elite. I feel like they are the brass team that is, taking over, causing deception in AEW, trying to fix, like taking a very Thanos approach towards everything. And I believe that this is the best dish for a storyline and for a faction like that. I'm highly entertained. I like seeing everybody, all the baby faces backstage, outside of the parking lot, ready to go for them. I love the interaction between Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy backstage. And then we see it happen towards the end of the show. Chuck Taylor is the one who falls at the end of the show coming out, and they take his leg out. We know Chuck Taylor's been injured, and that's why he's in a producer role. But them in storyline taking him out, and you see Orange Cassidy's face just completely drop. This is one of his, no pun intended, best friends being out for the count in that situation, helpless, already hurt. They mentioned that his career is done, and them taking out that leg. I thought that was great. And to me, this is where Orange Cassidy will grow as a character. We are so under the assumption that Orange Cassidy is a meme character, right? He's the one that wears the sunglasses, fights with his hands in his pockets. You're gonna unleash a babyface out of this, because that man's gonna have a purpose to fight, and you fight for your family. Like we see it within the Bloodline storyline. Family is what makes storylines matter more, because us as fans we can relate to that in a sense.
The emotion.
Like if someone attacked Clark, I'm a feeling. I'm a feeling, right? Like we family at the end of the day, and that's such a good way. I think they're doing a great job with this storyline. I see a lot of comments hating on it and stuff.
I think so too. We've got some. I actually really want to run through a few of these. So one of them that I want to see first here. Hang on, let me make sure that I get to the exact right one. And that's let's go through the private party ones. Yes, but he's done that for years.
Okay.
His old school shirt was inside out and it was printed on the outside.
Okay.
But so I worry that if Private Party breaks up, I really don't know what they will do with them as single stars. From number one Superfly, yeah, I agree. And then Bobby says, I feel like we don't need to break up Private Party. That's my thing with Private Party. They're from a place you have to be on a list to get into. So a lot of people don't know about that.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge Private Party fan. I really do think that they'll do well as a team. No doubt about it. There's a few others that are interesting. TCX Warlord, friend of the show, says, can you see the difference between BCC and Retribution's Mayhem? And I don't know the tone in which that was typed, whether it's can you see the difference? Or like, is it the same thing? Because yes, the answer is yes, I can see a key difference.
Yeah.
There is an established figurehead at the top of the BCC at this stage with Jon Moxley, a multi-time champion and a voice of the group. While yes, there is some uncertainty as to the why when it comes to the destruction, there's a massive difference. That's a tough comparison. Everyone's not wearing masks. It's not about we're going to get a reveal upon reveal upon reveal. It's not also attacking things for no reason. They're not cutting the ring ropes. They're not doing things like that. They're taking down people.
Yeah.
Right. And that's something that can be explained down the line. So I do see the difference there. MDB 999 said, why is everyone trying to take over AEW? I mean,
well, if you break up
Private Party, kind of the nature of a lot of wrestling storylines.
If you break up Private Party, that security guard has no job anymore. He only opens the valet for him, so that's where security went.
Yeah,
he dapped that dude up at the Dynamite, by the way. He's a cool guy.
I don't know. It's that to me is a interesting one. Like isn't taking over companies and like that Scott Hall give you the ooh because that was his whole deal in WCW. Like, isn't that the goal of a lot of professional wrestlers and or factions?
You're 100% right.
I mean, Roman Reigns has called himself the Tribal Chief or original Tribal Chief or a variation of that for about 4.5 years now.
Yeah, even Roman
And
Reigns'
is that
video
not
was
trying to run the show
yeah. He was
himself?
telling the general managers, "We're doing this on my behalf. I pick when I want to wrestle, like stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like there's different ways to do it. The thing is this: the elite were not taking over the company. They are literally EVPs. That is their actual role in AEW, right?
right.
Like it's blurring the lines of obviously what they do on a day to
Which
day
I'm cool
basis.
with. I mean, they did
Yeah,
the same thing with Eric Bischoff in WCW back in the day, and I thought that storyline landed. Of course, he
yeah.
was behind the NWO the whole time. That's why he's the only commentator that didn't get messed with.
And to be honest with you, dude, I could even see it. It's gonna at some point track between these two facing off and having a feud. Because they're gonna be like, all right, now we got to cut the snake's head off, which is you, Matt, you, Nick, and they can take them out as well.
Absolutely, I'm with you there. Like it's the timing is what's most fascinating to me because you'd think you'd be coming out of or or at least moving towards a babyface run for Matt and
Mhm.
Nick, and I just don't see that anytime soon.
Right.
That's not in the cards
Yeah, but
right
at
this
some
second.
point, and obviously when Kenny Omega comes back, there might be, there's a lot to happen.
Yeah,
But
there was
I
an
think,
interesting one here too from Numero One Superfly. Speaking of Kenny Omega, he said, "I'm not sure I really want Private Party to break up, but at the same time, I don't see the Young Bucks losing the tag team championship until Kenny Omega returns to get the belts off them." I understand
yeah,
that there's been rumors about Ibushi and the Golden Lovers and all that. I don't need Kenny in the tag division. Kenny, if Kenny's
nah,
gonna save AEW or come back and be the savior, I want him to be the
yeah.
singles guy.
I'm
I want him to be the best bout machine.
I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I don't think that storyline needs the tag team titles at all.
I agree.
Like it doesn't do anything. You then you pigeonhole the tag team titles in a sense, right? Because who's beating Kenny? Who's beating Coda? As who's beating the Golden Lovers? I don't know at that point, right?
Yeah, like how do you get the belts off of them eventually? Like they're not going to hold it forever. And I
Yeah,
just, yeah, the reunion in and of itself sells the match. To your
right.
point, right?
And private party getting the tag titles would really help transcend them as a team. And I like the fact that they are the thorn in the Bucks side. They beat the Bucks before a few years ago. They beat them last night. Like I like that being the thing that kind of makes you take them serious. I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, if they beat one of the best tag teams in wrestling history numerous times, then ultimately they're a threat in a sense, right?
Yep. I'm with you. Not to toot my own horn, by the way. I don't know if you saw that a second ago, but I actually just got a spider off my leg that was crawling up the side of it.
Oh,
So
so
I'm pretty stoked about that. That was a top 10 play of the week. Almost no doubt about it. But I will say that's going to bring us to the end of the show. Thank you, everybody who tuned in. As always, smash that like and subscribe button. It means the world to us. If you don't check out Off the Air after every NXT, do that too, because me, Shad, and Drizzy are having a good time over there. Sunday Night Spotlight,
nice.
you're going to check that out on Sunday. We already know that. Sold Separately's coming up. Take it to the table. We got all kinds of good stuff at Wrestling
Yeah.
Republic. Tomorrow, same place, same time. That's, of course, noon Pacific. That's 3 on the East Coast. That's going to be 8 o'clock in the UK and 9 a.m. for our friends in Hawaii. Have an awesome Thursday. On behalf of me and Shad, thank you so much, and we'll talk to y'all soon.
Peace.